welcome to another episode of Erongo Talk. I am your host, Iréne-Mari van der Walt, and I will be bringing you today's news, tides and weather, and then my colleague Otis Fink will be bringing you a short interview with the Deputy Mayor of Walvis Bay, who is going to tell us all about the Janet Martin Charity Foundation that she started. Keep watching.
Hi, I'm Aiden.
Hi, I'm Tamarin.
Please keep on watching Erongo Talk.
Every Tuesday is Erongo Day, and in today's Erongo we have three lovely headlining stories on our front page. Walvis Bay remains in a conundrum as they have been demoted back to stage 1 of the lockdown and schools will not open. So for those who might not be aware, schools are said to open for grade 11s and 12s tomorrow in the rest of the country. That has since progressed to stage 3, but Walvis Bay schools will remain closed. The distribution of educational assistance materials have also been halted. Despite this, the Minister of Health and Social Services, Kalumbi Shankula, says that he remains hopeful, given that all the cases of COVID-19 currently have been imported, or the new cases have all been imported. Speaking of imported cases, our first 2 cases of COVID-19 in the country, if you will recall correctly, the Romanian couple, have both recovered. But unfortunately, we have yet another case. A 32-year-old Namibian female traveled back to Namibia from Cape Town and tested positive for COVID-19. In our existing cases, Case 22 remains in ICU and on a ventilator, but medical professionals say that he is stable. Case number 21 apparently is doing well, according to reports. So, in some other COVID-19 related news, the Walvis Bay libraries have asked to open despite the current situation. They were asked to adhere to safety measures, but say that this is a $57,000 undertaking. This is to buy glass dividers and to ensure safety gates for the Naraville, Swakopmund and Walvis Bay libraries. There was, however, a $70,000 gap in the budget to redo the floors of the Swakopmund library, but this has been reallocated to help these 3 libraries adhere to health and safety regulations so that they can reopen. So if books aren't your idea of leisure, we have the Swakopmund Rock Fest that is slated to take place in September. So if you will recall, last year was the first ever Swakopmund Rock Fest, and it established itself as quite a festival with a heart, with Leslie Chongarero, the owner of the Swakopmund Rock Fest, pledging a portion of the proceeds from the festival to the semi-precious gemstone hawkers at Swakopmund. That's how they're gems at Swakopmund. He said that this year we have confirmed Vaughan Arons will be at the festival, as well as a favorite from last year, Jacob and Taylor. Leslie also said that he would like to bring in a South African group that is known for their otherwise name, Folk of Polisikar. He would like to have them at the festival, but that all depends on the opening of borders. The ticket prices have since been made available. A day ticket will cost you $80. A day ticket with 1 night's camping will cost you $250, and tickets to the entire event and camping for the duration of the event will cost you $400. The ticket sales open this week, with a launch being in the pipeworks, and at this launch the proceeds from last year's festival will be handed over to the semi-precious gem hawkers that we mentioned previously that the proceeds were pledged to. That's all in our news for today.
My name is Otis Daniels, and I'm in the presence of our Honorable Deputy Mayor. But before I introduce her, they say dynamite comes in small packages, and I'm here to prove it to you today. Honorable Deputy Mayor Penelope Martin-Louw, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Otis. Good afternoon, Erongo News viewers. I'm fine today. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us into your space.
You're always welcome because I'm a people's person.
So we are here to talk about business, very serious business. And you are, as Deputy Mayor, I think before you became Deputy Mayor, you founded the Janet Martin Charity Foundation. How did
Yes.
it happen?
It all started in 2007 while I was taking care of my mother.
Yes.
She was bedridden because they amputated her one leg, and she was also very old. She was 76 years old.
Yes.
And one day I came from church and something told me to go around the corner. As you know, I grew up in the poorest community of Walvis Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went around the corner of my mother's house in the back, I saw 3 of my friends' grandchildren sitting on the sidewalk. And the other children were making fun of them,
Yes.
calling them names and all that, and they were just sitting there. And I went up to them and I asked them, why are you sitting here? And they said, our grandfather is not at home, there is no water and electricity, and we are very hungry. So I asked, since when are you alone? And they said, since the Friday afternoon, the grandfather left. And now they're waiting for one or other auntie to open the door and call them to come and have a piece of bread or something to eat.
Yes.
And so I told them, listen, come with me to my house. I didn't have a lot to give them, but I will give you something to eat at least.
Mm-hmm.
So they followed me to my mother's house. I gave them what I had to eat, and I told them never ever sit again there on the sidewalk.
Yes.
If you are hungry or you need something, please come to Auntie Penny, I will give you something to eat.
Yes.
And then the Monday, I went to, because I saw in the newspaper actually that there was a container in Tutaleni, and there's a house also here in town, that time in 2007, where Woerman and Brock gave them food every Monday, Friday, Wednesday and Friday.
Yes.
So I went to the manager in town at the new Woerman, and I talked to him and I asked him, can't you give me at least, even if it's only 10 or 20 parcels of food, because there's also hungry children in Naraval and whatever.
Yes.
And he said, no, but he doesn't have enough even for the children in Kuisabo in town. And I said, but Naraval also has hungry children. And
Yes.
I mean, there are women, the mothers, they go to jail or they just go and then they leave the children at the grandmothers. It's happening all over the world.
Yes.
Especially, I don't know, but it's happening all over. And so, I talked to him and I convinced him to tell me to come every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yes.
So the food that they didn't sell the previous day, they gave it to me. And the next day. And after a week, he called me back and he said, I must come and pick up 50 blankets. And I also distributed to the needy children, the OVC. This is where all of it started.
13 years ago.
Yeah, so 13 years already.
Yeah, 13 years ago. So ever since you started out with passion, what happened? How did you go about registering the charity? When did you register it? When did it actually become a registered charity?
Well, the registration is still in process.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of bureaucracy, to register a charity.
Yes.
But it's because many people exploited it.
Yes.
So the ministry is extra careful to register a charity now. But my charity is now, the papers actually is at the High Court.
Okay.
Or the Master of the High Court. Yes, we're waiting just for the Master of the High Court
Yes.
to sign it, but it's a lot of paperwork that you have to fill out and,
But you've been very active
I've been
within
active.
the community. Tell us, what have the charity done? What initiatives did you take up?
One of the, or a few of the initiatives that we did is we went to Utusip, JP Brand School,
Yes.
because somebody told me that there are girls who are starting to menstruate and they don't have any sanitary pads.
Yes.
And so we went there and but first we looked for sponsors. I'm good at talking, so, we looked for sponsors, and people sponsored, and we also use our own money to, to make them parcels with cosmetics, like a roll-on, a spray, lotion, a toothbrush, toothpaste, face cloth, and soap, and sweets, and we put in a lot in that parcel, and the sanitary towels. And then we went to JP Brand School to distribute it there amongst them, and they were very, very, very grateful for us to invite them. That, you look at the counselor and you just say, oh, she's a counselor, she must have a lot of money. No, or she was born with a silver spoon in the mouth.
Take hard work.
Yeah, all of us go through the same trials and tribulations through life. Most of us, more or less the same, but we all go through stuff, especially women. So, as my passion, one of my passions are woman empowerment. That's why I'm doing these kind of things that I'm doing.
You've told us a lot, and I appreciate your message. Basically, to conclude, what would your message be to the youngsters, the young women, and community members in particular out there? What would you tell them?
First of all, nothing is so bad that you have to take your own life. Secondly, girls, don't throw away your babies. Whatever happens, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can always call me. I will provide my number and so on later on. But you can always call me or drop me an SMS or a missed call or whatever. Or if you don't want to call me, I can find you somebody who you can talk to. We also eradicated 2 baby dumping cases. Yeah, it just came up now. And the third one, the mother kept the baby.
Yes.
But when we are busy with baby dumping or helping somebody, we don't just help you. I accompany them to the clinic. The mothers now.
Yes.
I accompany them to the clinic. I work with the social workers.
Yes.
And I take them there for counseling. It's not just you take the girl's baby and you give it. No, they will be counseled. The parents will be screened. And, I walk the road with them until even at the maternity ward.
Yes.
When they have to give birth. I accompany them. I take them to the hospital.
You walk the path.
I walk the path with them. So that they're not alone.
Yes. Then now, finally, your motto. What motivates you? What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? I've been through a lot in life, and I understand what people are going through, because I got divorced from my husband when my children were very young, like 2 years old and a baby. So as a single parent, I know what we are going through. And as a girl who grew up here in Walvis Bay with all the, temptations that's around you and the circumstance that you are in, it's never ever too hard to come out of it. Never ever. So please, girls, take heart. Like I said, and pray, because God is the only one that can help you. If you talk to God, you don't have to talk to anybody else. He will help you. I believe that, and my motto is empower women, even young girls, so that we can have a strong community, because we are the builders of the community. We are mothers of kings, presidents, you name it, we are the mothers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed viewers, there you have it. Proof, dynamite do come in small packages. Thank you, Honorable.
So in this week, every Tuesday, we have the friend of Erongo, Grumpy Gramowski, gives us a fishing report, and he tells us a little bit about where the fish were found and what exactly they liked. So he says that this past week, Benny's Rooi Lorry was the place to be, with galjoen and steenbra being delivered in those waters. Certain Emil Prinsloo delivered quite an anomaly, with an 18-kilogram steenbra being caught on a size 1 hook. Emil apparently used a 10-foot rod with light tackle and white mussel as bait, and still managed to reel in a big one. Zayla and Diwala apparently were also good fishing spots to be, with good galjoen and steenbra being caught in those areas. Yakal Spitz, according to Grumpy, gave some pan-sized cob, but Grumpy says that winter is definitely oncoming, and that in the oncoming winter you can expect to good steenbrand cob catches. In today's tides and weather, Henty's Bay saw low tide at 40 minutes past 3 this morning. Swakopmund saw low tide at 49 minutes past 3 this morning, and Walvis Bay at 38 minutes past 3. High tide in Henty's Bay was at 2 minutes to 10 this morning. High tide in Swakopmund was at 8 minutes past 12 this morning, and high tide in Walvis Bay was at 5 minutes to 10 this morning. Low tide is expected at 12 minutes past 4 this afternoon in Henty's Bay. Low tide in Swakopmund at 1 minute to 6, and low tide in Walvis Bay is expected at 10 minutes past 4. High tide for Henty's Bay is expected, the last high tide for the day is expected at 10 minutes to 11 tonight. The last high tide for the day will be expected tomorrow in Swakopmund with 27 minutes past midnight, and the last high tide for Walvis Bay is expected at exactly 13 minutes to 11 tonight. Maximum temperature in Henty's Bay is an expected 28 degrees Celsius with a northwesterly wind. Maximum temperature for Swakopmund is at 25 degrees Celsius with an expected southeasterly wind. Maximum temperature for today for Walvis Bay is expected at 28 degrees Celsius with a southeasterly wind. For tomorrow, the maximum temperature for Henty's Bay is expected to be 27 degrees Celsius with a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius with a southeasterly wind. For tomorrow in Swakopmund, a maximum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius is expecting with a minimum of 16 degrees Celsius and a southeasterly wind. In Walvis Bay, we are expecting a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius tomorrow with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius and a northwesterly wind. In Usakos, we are expecting a maximum for today of 31 degrees Celsius with an east-northeasterly wind, and a maximum for tomorrow of 30 degrees Celsius, and tomorrow a minimum of 13 degrees Celsius with an east-northeasterly wind. In Omaruru, a maximum for today is expected to be 29 degrees Celsius, with tomorrow just 1 degree less at 28 degrees Celsius. A minimum of 12 degrees Celsius tomorrow for Omaruru, with an easterly wind prevailing. In Karibib, we are expecting for today a 29 degrees maximum, but for tomorrow, 28 degrees Celsius maximum, with a minimum of 11 degrees Celsius tomorrow with a northeasterly wind. In Arandas for today, we are expecting a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius, and tomorrow 33 degrees Celsius with a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a prevailing northerly wind. That's all from me at the National Marine Aquarium in Swakopmund, if you haven't seen it before. So remember to send us your news at 0811 7040. You can also get to contact with us via our social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Remember to pick up your Erongo inside today's Republican. But if you're more of a new age person, remember to check out our website at www.erongo.com.na. We have extra stories that don't always feature in the pages, and we have new stories every single day for you to read right on our website, www.erongo.com.na. That's all from me for today. We'll see you tomorrow.